Okay, this is the skills part of the summative test, the practice one. First part of your skills test will have a word bank. You need to pick a word from the right to fill in the blanks on the left. So you can only use each word once. So 2 is, we have to think of all the different things 2 could be. It's a prime number. And so since there's no rest of the sentence, you might put prime number here. But always use pencil because maybe you'll end up changing your mind later. So for example, maybe if problem 1A was confusing, you could look at something like this, where there's a sentence you have to fill in the middle. 30 is the what of 3 and 10. So 30 is, when you look at the numbers 3 and 10, it's not a factor, so you can cross that off. It is a composite number, but it wouldn't make sense to say 30 is the composite number of 3 and 10, so you can cross that off. It's not a prime number, it's not a factor pair, and it's not the greatest common factor. So it either has to be a multiple or the least common multiple. So to check that, you could just use a little scratch work. 30, or check, 3 and 10, and see if that's the least common multiple. Quick check would be with the ladder. A lot of you would just know the answer in your head, but if you're not sure, you can use the ladder. 3 doesn't go into either, nothing but 1 goes into 3 and 10, and whenever that happens, to get the least common multiple, you always just multiply the 3 by the 10. So 30 must be the least common multiple. Remember, you can only use, I'm going to abbreviate, each thing once. So cross it out. We've used it. Cross it out in pencil because there might be a chance you made a mistake, so you want to still be able to see your words if you have to undo. So start again. So far, it seems like we have prime number crossed out and least common multiple. 9 is a blank of 3. Well, 9 is a multiple of 3. So that's how you do the word rank. And then 16, well, 16 is a composite number. So we can put that here. And then 4, our only choices are factor, greatest common factor, or factor pair. So 4 is one number, so it's not a factor pair. Cross that out. So 4 is the factor of 8 and 12, or is it the greatest common factor? Again, you can use that division ladder to see what goes into 8 and 12. 4. It goes into 8 twice. 12 3 times. Since 2 and 3 only have 1 in common, you know that that is the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor. Number 2. List all the factors of. So remember, start with 1. 1 and 48. It's even. 2 and 24. 3 and 16. There's that little trick if you remember. 3 goes into 24 8 times, and then 8 times 2 gives you the 16. It's a handy little trick. Sort of helps some people continue their factor pairs. 4 goes, you could use that same method. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12, or 4 times 12 is 48. 5 doesn't go in to 48. 6 does. 6 times 8 is 48. 7 doesn't go in. So the next number would be 8. So that would be repetition. So those are all your factors. For 36, 1 and 36. 2 and 18. 3 and 12. 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. So all the factors of 36 are right here. You don't have to put the 6 twice. And all the factors of 48 are right there. Now, part C says use the lists. So use these lists to find the greatest common factor of 48 and 36. So just scan through the list and find the number that's in both. 18 is not in both. 24 is not in both. 36 and 48 is not in both. 16 is not over here. 12 is both here and there. So 12 works. You can check it if you want with the ladder, if that helps you. List the first 5 multiples of 15 and 12. 15 times 1 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 3 is 45. 15 times 4 is 60. 15 times 5 is 75. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. Now using the list method, find the least common multiple of 12 and 15. That's the first number they have in common, which is 60. Use a division ladder. That's next problem 4. So find the least common multiple and the greatest common factor of 80 and 150. This is a much quicker method than doing the lists. But the lists are very meaningful, so it's nice to try both. When I look at 80 and 150, they both end in 0, so I would take it a 10. 80 divided by 10 is 8. 150 divided by 10 is 15. When I look at 8 and 15, they don't have anything else but 1 in common. So the greatest common factor is 10. Least common multiple is 8 times 1, 50. So, have to do a little bit of work there. Remember, you could use your area model or distributive property. 8 times 100 and 8 times 50. That's 800 and 400. So 1200. Remember, your division ladder, even though I got that in one step, doesn't always work that way. So you could also have taken out something different, like maybe 5. 5 times 16 is 80, and 5 times 30 is 150. So you would continue, because 16 and 30 have 2 in common. 16 divided by 2 is 8, 30 divided by 2 is 15. So to get the GCF, you would do 5 times 2, which is 10, for the GCF. To get the LCM, you would still do 8 times 150. Both ladders work. Next page. Use the sieve to find the prime numbers between 15 and 35. So you cross out everything that's not prime and circle everything that is prime. 1's not prime, 2 is. So since 2's prime, we can get rid of all the evens. So we're going to just get rid of all the evens here. Every other row is even. The next number left is prime. And I'm going to cross out all multiples of 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and you might notice that there's a diagonal pattern, and could do this a little bit quicker because on the diagonals are all the multiples of 3. 1 plus 3, I thought we wanted circle 3. So 9 was crossed out. All of those are multiples of 3. And then 39 is a multiple of 3. So you can either skip count and cross out or use patterns. The next prime number is 5. All the multiples of 5 are right here and right here. The next prime number is 7. Usually 7s, it's easiest just to count up by 7s. So 7 plus 7 is 14, that's already gone. Plus another 7 is 21. Plus another 7 is 28. Plus another 7, 35. All the 7s are gone. The next prime number is 11. So crossing out the multiples of 11, they're on this diagonal right here. Those are gone. Next prime number is 13. Double it. You would cross out 26. That's gone. 13 times 3 is 39. That's gone. The next prime number is 17. Circle it. Double it. It's an even number, so that's already gone. 19. Double it. 38. Since 19's 20's halfway, everything left is a prime number. So those are all the primes, and the question's asking for primes between 15 and 35. So the first one is 17, then 19, then 23, then 29, and 31. All right, next problem. Use a factor tree to find the prime factorization of 36. So 6 times 6, 2 times 3, 2 times 3. Circle your primes. Write the prime factorization. I didn't leave an answer blank, so we'll box our answer. 2 squared times 3 squared, or you could do expanded form. Both of these are correct. Either one would get you all the points. Number 7, list the 3 square numbers between 40 and 100. So square numbers, think of a small one like 5 times 5. Whoops. That's 25, so you need to go bigger. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 10 is 100. So the ones that are between 40 and 100 would be these 3. Bigger than 40, but less than 100. And there should be a third blank there. So 49, 64, 81.